Hello everyone, my name is Jimmy and welcome to the last lap, and in today's video we're going to be breaking down the championship for all three series of NASCAR this weekend at Phoenix Raceway. But before we hop into it, just want to remind you guys to hit that like button and subscribe button. We greatly appreciate it if you did that, and you can also check out our social media pages, which are linked in the description. But let's go ahead and hop into the episode. As always, I have my friend and co-host Matthew joining me on the show, who is decked out in his M&Ms and Interstate batteries and Toyota and number 18 gear for probably the final time, for at least a normal NASCAR weekend. So Matthew going all out. I approve. I'm all out as well. Got all the Chase Elliott gear on. So Matthew, how's it feel to be going into the final race of the season? And I'm sure it's very bittersweet for you.
Well, just forgive me this video. I am not feeling well at all, but I just could not skip this last preview of the season here, so if I sound like crap, forgive me. But yeah, it's gonna be an emotional weekend for me. It's gonna be an interesting weekend. I'm sure we're gonna have some controversies, especially on the Xfinity side. And yeah, one last weekend of the season.
Alright, so there's two major announcements coming on Friday, the day this gets uploaded, but we're recording this the night before, so we won't have all the official details for you guys. But the first one is a very surprising announcement involving Jimmie Johnson. He is reportedly interested in a partial ownership of Petty GMS, and he wants to drive for them on a part-time schedule next year. So this news just broke last night via Jordan Bianchi from The Athletic. He was the one that reported this, and everybody's just shocked out of nowhere that Jimmie Johnson is wanting to come back to NASCAR and be involved in ownership and racing, but not with Hendrick Motorsports, with Petty GMS. So everybody's probably wondering why he didn't want to be involved with Hendrick Motorsports. I believe it might be because that Jeff Gordon and Chad Knaus are already both heavily involved in there, and I don't know if there's a position high enough for Jimmie Johnson right now, or another reason could be that he wants to drive and Hendrick doesn't want to field a fifth car part-time. I know they can only do a few races. I don't even know if he'd be eligible to do it since he's not a rookie or anything like that. I don't know. But I would think that's probably one of the big reasons why he's going to Petty GMS. It's just so he can race and they can have a third car running part-time. Some other questions: what races will he run? Potentially the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro. He could do that. Could do the Chicago Street Course, Atlanta Super Speedway, Daytona 500, Southern 500. The gate is pretty much wide open, and he can choose whatever race he wants because he's a 7-time champion. He can do whatever the heck he wants. So next year, Eric Jones and Noah Gragson, they'll be there full-time in the 42 and 43 cars. So I think it's a very great move to have Jimmie Johnson come in and mentor those younger drivers. I know Eric Jones has been in the series for a little bit, and he's finally starting to run a little bit more consistent. He's run pretty good with Petty GMS this season, and yeah, obviously I have Noah Gragson coming in full-time next season for his rookie year. So a lot of growth, a lot of opportunity for Jimmie Johnson to develop those younger drivers. And this is actually something Matthew brought up, that there could potentially be a merger between Petty GMS and Hendrick Motorsports, kind of like what we see with Joe Gibbs Racing and 2311 Racing. Petty GMS could be like a second team kind of for Hendrick Motorsports, possibly. Obviously, this is all speculation and just a good point that Matthew brought up. But really big announcement. Excited to have Jimmie Johnson back involved in the sport, and looking forward to him being back behind the wheel and being an owner and being around the sport for a long time to come. And speaking of announcements, Kyle Busch Motorsports, they also have an announcement Friday night revolving around their 2023 plans. And there was a tweet that somebody put up, said something like, "This would, W-O-O-D, be a very Purdy, P-U-R-D-Y, announcement." Something along those lines. And if you guys don't know, there's truck drivers Jack Wood and Chase Purdy, and that could possibly be something about the lineup for 2023. I don't know. It was just a rumor. It wasn't from a verified source or anything like that, so it could just be fake news or something like that going around. But we don't even know what this announcement entails. It might not even include a driver lineup. It just might say how many trucks that KBM is going to run in 2023. We don't really know. It just says that they have an announcement with their 2023 plans. So we don't know how many trucks. We don't know what drivers. We don't know any of that. But I'm assuming we're going to know a lot more information on Friday night for our review video on Monday. But that's pretty much the main news we're going to talk about. And then we'll talk about our Championship 4 picks in just a minute. But Matthew, let me get your quick reaction to some of this news stuff that has come out over the past few days.
I know since we got to talk about the championship, who's going to win it, I'll make this part quick here. So, Jimmie Johnson, the Petty GMS as a co-owner and potential part-time starts. I am really shocked by this. I mean, of all teams, Petty GMS. I mean, I'm sure it makes sense because Richard Petty's also an owner, and you're gonna have two 7-time champions in the same team, basically. That sounds like a super team, basically. But this is gonna be amazing for Petty GMS. I think we might see a Hendrick alliance with Petty GMS, and it's gonna be a strong one. And I'm sure Petty GMS might leap up a tier team, a full letter tier team because of that. And Jimmie Johnson is going to bring a lot of wisdom and a lot of knowledge to Eric Jones and Noah Gragson. I think it will really benefit Noah Gragson a lot because, as we all know, Jimmie Johnson's like the most fit driver in NASCAR history, basically. And Noah Gragson, let's just say he's not really good at keeping food in his stomach after a race, and not really. I mean, it's not really good for the people at the shop that have to clean that up every time. So I think Jimmie Johnson could be a big help with Noah Gragson when it comes to, like, getting in shape, what to eat, just getting fit, basically. I think that's gonna make Noah Gragson a better driver. But yeah, that really special news, and I can't wait to see what races he runs. I hope he runs the Daytona 500 because I will be there for that. I mean, it makes sense because I'm assuming Carvana is going to be with Jimmie with these starts, and I'm sure Carvana would love to be in the Daytona 500, so that wouldn't surprise me at all. I hope so because I would love to see that person. So that's that. And then the KBM announcement, I swear this better not be true. But those last names that you just said, they better not. Because I'm going to lose my mind if they do this. Because they literally got Nick Sanchez and Raja Karuth right there, ready to go. And since Kyle's going to Chevy, they're Chevy drivers, perfect opportunity to move them up to the Truck Series full time. And keep that duo together, basically, as teammates. Kyle Busch Motorsports cannot be signing Jack Wood and Chase Purdy, two of the bona fide scrubs that have had great rides their whole career and have done absolutely nothing. What makes you think they're going to do better in a KBM truck? What makes you think that? This obviously has to deal with sponsorship, which says Kyle was just going to Chevy. You're not going to have those Toyota sponsors anymore, like Mobil 1, Safelite. He probably had no choice but to get guys that had clear sponsorship. But it's still, they're going to go bankrupt by the end of the season with those bums wrecking every race and finishing 20th every race. It's ridiculous. This better not be true. This better be some idiot on Twitter that just trying to poke the bear at me here. I'm really hoping that's what it is. I don't want to beat those two. Heck to the nah. No, that's not happening. So, that's all I have to say. I'm looking forward to the announcement tomorrow, and that better not be true with those two drivers that are not good at all.
So, one thing I want to quickly say about the Jimmie Johnson topic before we move on is that what car number is Jimmie Johnson going to drive next season? Because Hendrick Motorsports, they have rights to the 48 car, and that's what Jimmie Johnson has driven for his entire NASCAR career. That's what he did in IndyCar, so I'm interested to see if that'll be part of the announcement tomorrow. But if not, maybe over the offseason they'll announce that. So just an interesting thought. But now we're going to go ahead and hop into the Championship 4 predictions. So for the Championship 4, in each series, we're going to break it down for you, starting with the Truck Series. First, it's Ty Majeski, Ben Rhodes, Chandler Smith, and Zane Smith. And each of these drivers have been very good all season long. Ty Majeski, he's won the last 2 races. Ben Rhodes is his teammate. He won the championship last year. Chandler Smith won at Phoenix last year. And Zane Smith started off the season really good, and he's been very consistent all season long. But my pick for this is going to be Ty Majeski. A little bit of an underdog pick there for you guys. I feel like he's getting hot at the right time. As I said, won the last 2 races, the first 2 wins of his career. So I believe Ty Majeski is going to get it done in the Truck Series for his first championship. Now it's time for my Xfinity pick. The 4 drivers there are the 3 junior motorsports drivers in Noah Gragson, Justin Allgaier, and Josh Berry. And then you have Ty Gibbs, obviously based on everything that happened last week. And all these drivers have been pretty good this season as well. Ty Gibbs won, I believe, 5 races or so this year. Noah Gragson, he has the most wins of any driver this year. Justin Allgaier, very good at Phoenix. Josh Berry, very consistent as well. But my pick for this one is going to be Justin Allgaier because he is very good at Phoenix. I feel like he's going to pull off the upset for Noah Gragson and Ty Gibbs. So Justin Allgaier is going to be my Xfinity pick for the championship. And now it is time for my Cup picks. We have Joey Logano, who won at Las Vegas, Christopher Bell, who won last week in Martinsville, and then Ross Chastain and Chase Elliott, who pointed their way in last week at Martinsville. And as you guys know, by the gear I have on, my heart says I have to root for Chase Elliott to get his 2nd NASCAR Cup Series championship. But these other guys are really tough. I mean, Joe Logano, he's been pretty good at the shorter tracks, the shorter ovals, the mile and under tracks. Christopher Bell, he's on a hot streak right now. Won 2 straight elimination races to move on to the playoffs. And Ross Chastain, I believe, who has the best average finish of the championship 4 contenders. So my heart is saying Chase Elliott for this. But also my mind, I think, has to say Christopher Bell. I feel like I don't know, I feel like he should be the favorite. I mean, he's won 2 playoff elimination races in a row. So Christopher Bell, he's going to go, I'm going to pick him with my head, and my heart is going to be rooting with Chase Elliott for this weekend at Phoenix. So Matthew, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody your picks for this weekend for the Championship 4 in each series.
Alright, so for the Truck Series, I have to go with Chandler Smith here. And of course, there's some biasm with that because KBM is their final race with Toyota, basically, and the sponsors. But Chandler Smith is tied with Zane Smith with the most wins. And the last race he won was Richmond, which is kind of similar to Phoenix. Not really, but it's similar, a little bit similar to it. And he also won Phoenix last year, but he wasn't the championship 4. So I'm going to go with Chandler Smith for the Truck Series. And then for the Xfinity Series, I think it's going to come down between Noah Gragson and Ty Gibbs. But I'm going with Noah Gragson here. I mean, he's been pretty much the best car all year. But, I mean, Ty Gibbs does have a shot, but I just feel like he's been jiving so much during the playoffs here that he's running out of mulligans, and I'm sure he's gonna have a hard time during this race. So I gotta go with Noah Gragson here. And then for the Cup Series, in my mind, I'm thinking Christopher Bell as well. I mean, the kid has just been amazing. This is only his 3rd Cup season. This is his 2nd season in JGR, and he's already in the championship 4. And 2 of those were must-win race. 2 of those last 2 races were must-win races, and he came in clutch. He's got that dog in him, and I feel like with Phoenix here, this is gonna be a walk in the park for him because he basically has to win. Basically, he has plenty of experience of that now. So I gotta go with Christopher Bell here. And plus, he's won in New Hampshire this year, which has some similar characteristics to Phoenix, but that he can take from there. But in my heart, I really, really want Ross Chastain to win the championship. After the week he has had, becoming one of the most well-known drivers in NASCAR, modern, besides Bubba Wallace, basically. I mean, he's been all over the place on social media. He's even been on pages where they don't know that. I found a page that they normally talk about NBA. They were talking about that finish, that move he made. And I just feel like this will be a perfect ending to the season if Ross Chastain wins the championship for Trackhouse, a second-year team, and right after the miracle move that he made. It just feels so right. So, in my mind, Christopher Bell, but in my heart, Ross Chastain.
Alright, those are some great picks from Matthew over there. But I think that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this video. We wanted to keep it pretty short for you guys, talking about the championship preview for each series. Make sure you guys let us know your picks for the championship for each series in the description down below. Make sure you guys follow our social media channels as well, because that's where the news for all these announcements coming out, it'll be there first, and then we'll talk about it on here obviously afterwards. So make sure you guys check out those social media channels. But until the next time, we'll see you guys in the next video.